want to look at the terms of this deal that the staff, the detailed terms they sent, is phenomenal and mind-boggling. This is May 8th, so this is, you know, a week before they had the meeting where the council for the first time was informed about this. And he's touting this thing, hey, we're really glad you're coming. The site's on a major arterial, it's flat, mature landscaping, has all the utilities on. All that's true for sure. We understand your top priority is a long-term ground lease with a below market rate, that's right. And we're offering a long-term 50-year ground lease with an option to renew for subsequent terms with an average lease payment of $257,000. Told you that's worth, you know, maybe $5 million more or less. He points out here, you know, we got some problems. To further this goal, we're going to have to work together in partnership with you because we got a little problem. A primary issue is the City of Tucson is lacking in park space in this area that we want to sell 114 through, you know, and we're going to have to break our contract with First Tee. But, you know, this letter from Miranda, who gets this thing? Liz Miller, Deputy City Manager, Assistant City Manager, another Assistant City Manager, Planning Policy Director, Director of... Man, everybody's into all of these details, and let's look here. This is something that the city put together, and here's one figure, and you can kind of get the drift of how this stuff works. Pima County property tax savings over 5 years. This is a T.R.E.O figure, $7,260,000. Okay, so if they sell this to these guys, the title remains in the city. They're offering a 50-year ground lease. You also saw in the letter that they say, that he said 50 years, but you can get extensions. So when the city leases it, the title's in the city's name. They're saving $7,250,000 over 5 years. So over the first 50-year lease, that's $72 million taxes not paid to the city.
Jeez.
That's that one number. But and here's something, and the kind of stuff that we don't have. Here's a document that we have no idea who put this together. We have no idea what meetings, how it occurred. City of Tucson proposes a development and lease purchase agreement, this DLPA. Well, of course, that's the special thing where they've told them that we'll give you any kind of zoning you want for high density zoning, your apartment houses, tall things you want to put in a mall, all of that stuff. We'll give you all of that. You don't see that in the appraisal, of course, because it's that kind of thing you're required to put in appraisals unless you pay somebody to give you something that is not useful. So he says here, the basic terms of this lease purchase, this one is an initial term for 15 years with 9 successive 5-year options. During the initial term, a portion of the lease payments you can apply toward the ultimate purchase. So that's pretty cool deal too. You get a little credit for that. You know, you rent to own eventually, but it's 60 years later. Here's a great one. After the initial 15-year term of the lease, the purchase price will remain steady for years 16 through 60. Hey, how would you like to get that? It's a little Tucson real estate, maybe 45 years ago with a fixed amount that you could buy, 45, 60 years later. Absolutely phenomenal. And the university will be able to exercise this, anytime. Of course, part of this fee applies to it. And then there are all kinds of, it's like we're paying them to take it off our hands. There's what they call adjustments. The purchase option price may be adjusted through negotiating terms in the lease depending on the extent of any extraordinary development expenses, which may include problems with the sewer, electric, gas, certain public improvements, you know. So not only are we giving you this stuff free, you're going to get, you know, $70, $80 million tax-free stuff. We'll give you all of this other stuff for this city park that's mature that we're short on park space for. But hey, you know, that's just the way the staff does with all that details, and then bring it to the group that has pixie dust on them and doesn't figure out what's going on. So last week was something that was pretty phenomenal. I'm sure many of you saw this one too. Rio and Nuevo probe bad but not criminal. So the Attorney General's office says the Rio Nuevo debacle may have squandered millions of dollars, but no one's going to, you know, be behind bars, which is fine. I understand that. Believe me, Horn, with his trouble, he's not picking fights. So I mentioned $250 million, and even though the 18-month investigation uncovered ample evidence that the city, Rio Nuevo Board, and others botched the projects from the start, but the bumbling didn't rise to criminal level. So what's the city to do about this? Steve Kozachik, the council person with the brain, says, many of us have been saying all along that there's a fundamental and legal difference between gross financial mismanagement and criminal wrongdoing. I agree. Hopefully we can get focused on managing this taxpayer money and put the witch hunt to bed. You want to know where that $250 million went? It's just a witch hunt. Mayor Rothschild says it's been a long time and it has long been time we look forward about downtown and not back to find out how all this stuff could have been squandered. So I sent a public records request to the Attorney General's office, and I fortunately was able to talk to the guy that did the investigation. And what I'd asked for is, gosh, you know, I'm not disputing, you know, there's no criminal stuff. I haven't looked at this stuff. But there's massive mismanagement. They found that. So I asked him, I said, look, I'd like you to send to me as a public records request all the data that you've sent the city that they've asked for. Because obviously the city would have been interested in massive mismanagement. And the mayor and council would, because obviously they set policy and manage the city. And you'd think when every city deal is bad, again, and really bad, again and again and again and again, as managers, they would want to know that. Prosecutor said, you know, that's interesting. He says, during this entire investigation, no one from the city or Rio Nuevo has ever checked to see how it's going. And he says, you know, I've learned a lot when I looked. There's no criminal prosecution, but I've seen what was wrong, and I would have thought they might ask what I've learned and what could be corrected, what could be done to correct this problem. But no one has ever asked for the city. So you kind of see what the problems are. We can, you know, if you know city council people, I know them, nice people. Structurally, there's a problem there. It's something you'll never read about in the newspaper because we don't have one in Tucson. And all they do is send out ads and do what the growth lobby wants, but they don't even have investigative reporters. It's just nothing that's going to happen in the city. $250 million is wasted. Every one of those city deals, every one, is absolutely horrible. And is the same staff there? By and large, they got rid of Hine, but Hine got rid of the planning department, and they've not put one back. So whoever comes into the city doesn't have people that know up from down and look at it. And the staff has free rein. So anyway, that's my main point.